It was a dark and stormy night when Sarah heard a knock on her door. She peered through the peephole to see a man in a black raincoat, his face obscured by the hood. Sarah hesitated, but her curiosity got the better of her, and she opened the door. The man introduced himself as Detective Jones, and he asked if he could come in and ask her a few questions. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she led him to the living room. She wondered what he could possibly want from her. As the detective began to ask questions about her neighbor, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. There was a glint in his eye that made her uneasy. Suddenly, the power went out, and Sarah was plunged into darkness. She could hear the sound of the rain pounding against the windows. Suddenly, the lights came back on, and Sarah found herself face to face with the detective, a knife in his hand. He lunged at her, but Sarah managed to dodge out of the way. She ran for the door, but it was locked from the outside. Sarah's mind raced as she searched for a way out. She knew she had to act fast before it was too late. She grabbed a nearby lamp and smashed it against the window, shattering the glass. Sarah climbed out onto the fire escape and began to make her way down. The rain was coming down in sheets, and the wind threatened to throw her off balance. She could hear the detective's footsteps behind her. But she refused to look back. Finally, she made it to the ground, and she ran as fast as she could. She could hear the sound of the detective's footsteps growing closer and closer. But she refused to stop. Just as she thought she was going to make it, the detective caught up to her. He grabbed her by the hair and pulled her back. Sarah screamed, but no one was around to hear her. Just as the detective raised the knife to strike, the sound of police sirens filled the air. The detective turned to look, and Sarah seized the opportunity to break free. She ran as fast as she could, tears streaming down her face. When the police caught up to the detective, they found him standing in Sarah's empty apartment. He had a look of madness in his eyes, and he was muttering to himself. They arrested him and took him away, but Sarah knew she would never forget that night. She knew that she had narrowly escaped with her life, and she was grateful to be alive. But she also knew that the memory of that night would haunt her forever.